The Wolf's Highway, echoes of the last wish. Not long after the final clash on the starlit battlefield, where a certain orange gato had looked him in the eyes and refused to run anymore, the wolf felt restless. He had tasted something new that night, respect, perhaps, or the thrill of a worthy opponent who finally understood the value of life. The sword fight had ended without a kill, and that unfinished song lingered in his chest like an itch. So when the fabric between worlds thinned, the wolf stepped through, drawn by a massive pileup that should have been perfect. In this realm he was not the only death. He was the hunter's face, the active, personal side of the coin. The other side remained the cold, invisible architect of elaborate accidents, the silent designer of Rube Goldberg's slaughter. But the wolf, he preferred to watch his prey squirm. He preferred the chase. It was a rainy spring morning on Highway 23. Kimberly Corman's vision hit her like a truck. Logs, fire, twisting metal, death for everyone ahead. She caused chaos, forcing cars off the road. 8 people survived the crash that should have claimed them all. That night in the hospital, the wolf came calling. The lights dimmed. A cold wind smelling of pine smoke and distant gunpowder swept the hallway. He stepped out of the shadows, tall, grey-furred, clad in his dark cloak and wide-brimmed hat, twin sickles gleaming. Fresh claw marks from his recent duel with Puss still faintly scarred his face, not yet fully healed. The survivors stared. "You," the wolf growled, voice low and velvet rough, "cheated me tonight. I had such a beautiful composition ready." He tilted his head, red eyes glowing. "A little like the gato I fought under the stars. He at least had the courage to draw steel against me. You simply ran." Thomas Burke, the cop, stepped forward. "What the hell are you?" The wolf chuckled, spinning one sickle with effortless grace. "I am the hunter, one face of death in your world. The other face works quietly, building traps from everyday things. Me," his grin showed every fang, "I like to make sure the job feels personal." He pointed a sickle straight at Kimberly. "You started this, Nina. You stole 8 lives that were already mine. Now I get to hunt them back." The deaths began, but the wolf made them theatrical. Evan died exactly as the premonition foretold, rebar, wrecking ball, crushed metal, but the wolf stood openly on the roadside, watching. As Evan took his final breath, the wolf leaned in and whispered, "Too cocky." Even the gato learned that lesson. The mother and son at the railroad crossing. The wolf stood between the rails like a specter, hat dripping rain, as the train bore down. He didn't move. He simply watched their terror, then gave a small, almost respectful nod as the impact came. "At least you were together." He began appearing more frequently, enjoying himself. At a gas station, the wolf leaned against a pump, casually lighting a cigar while the fuel hoses twitched like snakes. Kimberly and the others barely escaped the explosion. As flames rose behind him, the wolf called out, "Pick up the pace. The gato made me work for it." The survivors tried everything, running, hiding, breaking the chain. But the wolf treated it like a game now, inspired by Puss's defiance. In an old barn during a thunderstorm, he kicked the door open, sickles drawn, rain pouring off his hat. "You remind me of him," he told them. "That orange fool thought 8 more lives would save him. He learned they only make the end sweeter when it finally comes. You have no extra lives, only borrowed time." He didn't kill them there. He wanted them desperate. He wanted them to feel the hunt. The climax came at the abandoned house, just as in the original Chain of Fate. The wolf walked through the front door during the storm, lightning flashing behind his silhouette. Beams collapsed, glass shattered, fire spread, all guided by the silent architect, but directed with cruel flair by the wolf himself. His sickles whistled through the air, cutting ropes, knocking over candles, getting deadly chains of events like a deadly conductor. Thomas sacrificed himself to save Kimberly, impaled by a falling beam. The wolf paused, sickles lowered for a moment. "Not bad, Palisha. Courage looks good on mortals." Only Kimberly and the pregnant Isabella remained in the burning ruins. Kimberly faced him, soaked and shaking. "Why are you like this? The other death was just inevitable. You enjoy it." The wolf tilted his head, red eyes softening just slightly. a shadow of the respect he had gained from Puss. Because life is only precious when it fights back, that Gato taught me that. He made me remember what it feels like to be challenged. He raised both sickles. Your fight has been disappointing. Isabella's water broke in that exact moment, a new life pushing into the world amid the fire and death. The wolf froze, his ears twitched. For a long second, the hunter stared at the scene, old death and new life, the eternal coin spinning. He let out a low, rumbling laugh that echoed like distant thunder. New life and old debts, perhaps the song isn't finished yet. The wolf lowered his sickles, turned, and walked into the flames and rain. His voice carried back on the wind. Run while you can, amigos, live loudly, make it worth my time. Kimberly and Isabella survived the night. But they knew the truth. The wolf was still out there, one face of death in a universe that had two. The quiet designer would continue building accidents. The hunter would keep watching. And somewhere, in the shadows between worlds, the wolf sharpened his sickles, humming the same old song, waiting for the next group foolish enough to cheat him. He had learned patience from an orange cat with a sword. Now the final destination world would learn fear from the wolf. Pick up the pace.
That's all, Zipsters! Like and subscribe.